Today we're going to talk about Elvis, tummy warmers, salted pineapple. It's a Blue Hawaii kind of day, so let's get started. Hi, I'm Jeff, and for the past 6 or 7 years now, I've lived in the San Francisco Bay Area. And alcohol, for better or for worse, plays a big role in life here. We have the wineries out of Napa, and there are craft breweries everywhere. But over the past 5 or 10 years, one thing that's really jumped out has been tiki bars. Rum-based tiki bars have really sort of taken hold of this town. And there are some world-class tiki bars in town. In San Francisco, you've got Smuggler's Cove, Pagan Idol. Out on the East Bay, you've got Forbidden Island and Trader Vic's. It's a great experience, and for me, when I go into a tiki bar, it always seems a little bit like I'm stepping back in time to a more relaxed but also a more exotic place. And that's how I feel when I watch Blue Hawaii. So grab a Mai Tai, and today we're going to talk about the 1961 classic from Elvis, Blue Hawaii. Blue Hawaii was actually the first of 3 movies that Elvis shot in Hawaii in the 60s. After Blue Hawaii, he did Girls, 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 and then a couple of years after that, he did Paradise Hawaiian Style. The exotic locations, girls in bikinis, it all sort of played out to something that really fit with the Elvis type of movie. The plot of Blue Hawaii follows Elvis's character's name is Chad Gates. And Chad has just been released from the Army and is now returning to Honolulu where his family lives. There to greet him at the airport is his girlfriend, played by Joan Blackman, and Hilo Hattie. And Hilo Hattie was a very well-known singer at the time, TV performer. She'd been in some movies. She's a Hawaiian legend. They're there to greet him. But some other people are there to greet him as well. And as he gets off the plane, I want you to listen and see if you hear what I hear. What's going on is hundreds of fans showed up at the airport the day they were shooting this, and as Elvis came out of the airplane, you can hear, if you turn up the volume, them screaming when they see him for the first time. Throughout the movie, we see Elvis driving around the Hawaiian Islands in a 1960 MG Roadster. Elvis enjoyed that car so much, he liked it so much, that when production finished, he bought the car. He had it shipped back to the U.S., and today the car is actually still in Elvis's family's, his estate's possession. It's in the museum at Graceland in Memphis. Like any great Elvis movie, music plays a key part, and the soundtrack for Blue Hawaii was a huge hit in 1961 and 1962. In fact, it stayed #1 on the albums chart for 20 weeks. It stayed on the charts for 79 weeks. It had a lot of longevity. There are some songs in there that were popular at the time that have maybe fallen out of favor, and some that you still hear if you listen to the radios today. Some of the songs that you might hear, the Hawaiian Wedding Song, wasn't new to Elvis. It actually was a song from an operetta that came out in the 1920s. You'll also hear the title song, Blue Hawaii, which was also another cover song. Bing Crosby had actually performed that song in a 1937 movie called Waikiki Wedding. But there were some new songs, Rockahula Baby, Beach Boy Blues, and then there's this great scene where Elvis sings, Can't Help Falling in Love with You.
Falling in love with you.
And that song became a signature Elvis song. And during the 70s, during his concert tours in the 70s, he often would finish his concerts with that song from Blue Hawaii. Even if you've never seen Blue Hawaii and you watch it for the first time today, there's going to be a couple of familiar faces in the cast besides Elvis. One in particular is the lady playing Elvis's mother. That's Angela Lansbury. And the unusual thing about the casting of Angela Lansbury as Elvis's mother is at the time, Angela Lansbury was only 36 years old. Elvis was 26. So we have Angela Lansbury being cast as Elvis's mother, even though she's only 10 years older than he is. The role of Elvis's girlfriend was played by Joan Blackman. Now, Joan Blackman was not the first choice for that part. The first choice was Juliet Prowse, and Juliet Prowse had been Elvis's love interest on a previous movie called G.I. Blues. Juliet Prowse was all signed up. She was ready to go and do Blue Hawaii. She made a couple of requests to the studio. One was that they bring her makeup artist from another studio onto this production so they could do her hair and makeup. And the other was that the production fly her secretary to Hawaii so the secretary could be there during the filming and help Juliet out. The studio pushed back and they couldn't work out a deal, so she left the picture and Joan Blackman was brought in to play the part. A large part of the end of Blue Hawaii is shot on location on Kauai at an island called the Cocoa Palms Resort. Now, even though the Cocoa Palms Resort had only been open about 8 years, this was not the first movie that had been filmed there. 3 other movies had been shot there before Blue Hawaii. You had Pagan Love Song with Esther Williams and Howard Keel. You had Miss Sadie Thompson, a musical with Rita Hayworth. And then you had Voodoo Island with Boris Karloff, all shot at the same place before Blue Hawaii. Now, the big scene from Blue Hawaii shot at the resort is the big wedding scene at the end when Elvis marries the Joan Blackman character. The wedding scene was so popular, and the song, Hawaiian Wedding Song, was so popular from it, that people were flocking to this resort to have their own Hawaiian weddings. And during its peak, the Cocoa Palms Resort was doing about 500 weddings a year. Now, in 1992, Hurricane Tiki hit Hawaii and severely damaged the Cocoa Palms Resort. It was abandoned at that time, and it's really fallen into disrepair. You can find pictures of it online. The good news is that even though it hasn't been used in more than 2 decades, the Hyatt resorts have announced plans to renovate and reopen the Cocoa Palms. So hopefully, if you're a Blue Hawaii fan, if you're an Elvis fan, you'll be able to go and visit the Cocoa Palms as early as 2017. Now, it's true that all Elvis movies made money. They all did. But none made money like Blue Hawaii did. Blue Hawaii was the number 10 top money maker of 1961. And it was also the number 14 top money maker of 1962. Now, those profits were taken by producer Hal B. Wallace. And Wallace funneled them into his next production, which was a very different movie than Blue Hawaii. He funded the money, he used the money to fund Beckett, starring Richard Burton and Peter O'Toole. And Beckett ended up getting nominated for 12 Academy Awards. All right, let's go to the countdown. Today we talked about Girls, Girls, Girls and Paradise Hawaiian Style, 2 Elvis movies also shot in Hawaii. We talked about Pagan Love Song, Miss Sadie Thompson, and Voodoo Island, 3 movies shot at the Cocoa Palms Resort. We talked about the Waikiki Wedding Song with Bing Crosby. We talked about GI Blues with Elvis and Juliet Prowse. We talked about Beckett, produced by Hal B. Wallace. And of course, we talked about Blue Hawaii. So that brings our total for the day down to $999,963. Well, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed my video about Blue Hawaii. If you did enjoy it and you like this series, I hope you'll think about subscribing to this channel. That really helps me out. And if you have any questions or comments or feedback, I'd really love to read that. So if you would, please put that in the comments section below, and I'll be sure to take a look at that. And I hope you'll join me again on our next video. And until then, thank you for watching A Million Movies.